been a while since we've seen each other. We have a lot of things to discuss. I honestly believe we may not get through all of them, but I'm trying to put things on paper so that I have senior moments from time to time. I don't want to forget something, and as long as it's down on paper, we can come back to it. I don't see Doug. I did recently just send him the link, so hopefully he'll show up. But I've been away for the better part of 2 weeks, so you'll notice that your mailbox are going to be full of forwards that I've done in the last half hour of things that have been communicated even from some of us to each other. And some of them we will get to today, some of them we won't. But I want you to have all the materials that's going on. Some of you know I'm on the board of the POA, and at the recent meeting, somebody said, well, we have no idea what's going on with the marketing committee. And I'm like, okay, number one, all the marketing meetings are open to the public. And number two, I've made a couple of updates to the city council meeting. And we haven't put things down on paper even to each other. So I may construct something kind of as a recap of all the things that we have done and somehow post it where everybody can see it, us as well as our residents. So I'll work on that. But again, I've been out of pocket for the last 2 weeks.
Also,
Visiting grandkids. I'm glad to be home. Okay, Gordon sent out a short email update, and I did just forward it to you. But Gordon, if you give a brief update of the senior golf event, and Holly, I know that you went and spoke, so if you want to add anything to that, take it away, Gordon.
Great. Again, yeah, thanks for reading that report. Again, I thought it was the senior golf. It was a very positive event for the city of Sky Valley. I think I said I spoke to Mid-South Golf couple from Gulf Shores, Alabama. They were staying at the Forest Hill condo rental. They were very pleased with the city and the club hospitality, food service, conditions of the golf course, and the cool weather, especially the cool weather. And they're coming back this fall. And I also attached a report from Steve Hare. I asked Steve and Elizabeth. Elizabeth has not returned my questionnaire, but Steve said there were 53 golfers that played 182 rounds, plus 20 non-golfers in the group. It was very beneficial to the club because they played Monday through Thursday, or less busy days. I believe most stayed at rental units, condos, and houses in Sky Valley, and a few, I guess, stayed in Highlands. So overall, I'd say, this is something we want to continue, and I think it's very, very positive for the area. I don't have a number on the impact, economic impact, but it's got to be 30, 40,000, putting together what was brought into economic impact to Sky Valley.
Did any of them buy a house while they were here?
That's good.
I'm kidding.
No.
How did the welcome packets go over?
They went very well. Thank you.
For those of you that may or may not be aware, let's see, Gordon, we had golf balls, we had a golf tool. What else did we throw in there?
Were the stickers in there, Bob?
The stickers, one of each of the stickers were in there. I got a small batch made and delivered. I got the map from the Northeast Georgia Mountain Travel Association that has our ad in it, and that got stuck in it. So just a little goodie bag that hopefully they can remember. And there was something else that the club put in, and I'm sorry, I've forgotten. I'm having a senior moment.
Holly, you participated on the Monday evening. How'd you feel about it? I wasn't there, so you gave a short presentation.
That they were all wonderful people and could not say enough wonderful things about Sky Valley. And they said they wanted to come back to Sky Valley as long as they were walking and talking. And I said, that's great. I also told them that we had realtors on standby in case anybody wanted to buy a house. And it was a great group. We had a good time.
Good.
Great. And they will be returning next year. That's they've already set up with Steve here for a return. So Hopefully
And
we even get more.
this group is all over the Southeast. I had heard somewhat
Right.
that they were primarily from Texas. Is that not true, or are they from?
No, they
Louisiana.
originally started off from Mississippi, didn't they, Gordon? And now it's
Yeah.
all over the Southeast, I
Oh,
think.
good. All right.
Alabama, the Gulf,
Yeah.
couple I spoke to from Gulf Shores.
Yep.
Good.
They just loved it.
Well, that's great. Glad we had a good event. Doug, I don't think seems to be here, so I'll try to pick up a little bit with what he's done. I did just send out quite a lot of forwards on some of the things that he's done, some of the email blasts, an ad and an article that we got in a magazine about Sky Valley in conjunction with the Dillard House. He's trying to reach out to local restaurants and kind of tie us together. We sent digitally the magazine, and it's on page 26 and 27, so you can look at that if you have an interest. Let's see. He sent out, and I forwarded it, an email about getting high resolution pictures and possibly some drone footage of Sky Valley, being that many of the photos that we have as a city and maybe even as a club are not the highest resolution. The ones that I've used for the ad that we put out there, I found on the internet, and they are JPEGs, which means they can be duplicated with some clarity. But Doug invited and brought up a professional photographer named, I've forgotten his name, Steve Dinsby, and he and I met a couple of weeks ago down at the club. He's a professional photographer. He has specialized, but not exclusively, in golf courses. And he and Doug looked around. Unfortunately, it was raining that day, so we weren't expecting to take any photographs. But he's going to put a package together of photographs that he can take, excuse me, and possibly some drone footage. And I told him, I said, we want as much as we can for as little as we can pay. So he understands excuse me one second. He understands we don't have an unlimited budget. As a matter of fact, he said, what's your budget? I said, we don't have a budget for this. Let's see what you can come up with, and we'll see if we can scrape the money together. So he is going to put together pictures from each of the seasons. So when it snows, he's going to have to get up here pretty quick. And he's from the Atlanta area, so that shouldn't be a problem. So sometime over the next several months and seasons, we should have some high resolution updated photos, because some of our photos actually work, but you'll notice how small the trees are compared to what they are now. So some of them are quite old. I also sent a notice to Bruce, who's in charge of the, I forget what it's called, the committee for the mayor that does supplemental work around, to bring it to the
Special
attention.
projects.
There you go. And to bring it to the attention of the timeshare, because once the pictures are taken and the drone footage is taken, it's going to be that way for a long time. So I thought that may be a little bit of an impetus to the timeshare to continue their remodeling, updating, repainting activity, so that everybody has good photographs out there. Okay, that's probably enough, because once you see the attachments that I sent to you, you'll pretty much see all of the stuff that's out there. Okay, Gordon, in your notice, you also have been doing it. Thank you so much for this, the webcam investigation. So I have it in front of me, but I'm not sure everybody else does. Can you again give us a quick update on the webcam?
Yes, please. Yeah, I sent a questionnaire to Mike Doble from Webcam and asked for the cost to install the camera and any additional costs or services. Also, what kind of power they need. And I don't know if you had a chance, his response, I sent it to you. Do you want to review that at all? And then I have a couple.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I want to review a few of those things. And one of the question is as we go through this is, the question is the estimated purchase date. I've got 5 or 6 questions here. Maybe we could go through this and as a committee decide, when do we want an estimated purchase date? Is this something down the road in terms of timing?
Well, I think we talked a little bit about this in that we have money in the budget right now. And I would rather spend that money on something we really think will help us in need. So I'm thinking pretty quickly, probably within the next couple of months for sure, because as of now, we actually have the money based on the estimate you gave us the last time, which I think was $6,000.
Yes.
Okay. So next question.
The next question is location of the camera. You know, where would we put it? I know this is we've got, you know, 4 entities. We got the city, we got the club, we have the POA, of course, and you know, I have my ideas, but possibly there's other areas that, where we should install it.
Okay, I think this is just my opinion. Be welcome to hear from anybody else. Being not an expert in the area, I'm thinking, you know, probably a high level vantage point. I think we definitely want to get as much of the valley as we can. I know that some of the webcams that were on their website are ones that look like they can look one way and then flip and look the other way. I don't know if that's a possibility or more of a scan as opposed to a stationary part. So I think we might need opinions from you folks and then also some recommendations from them. I mean, they're the professionals in this, I'm assuming. Would they be willing to come up here and look and say, hey, this is a good spot and here's what we need to do? And, you know, because for us just to buy a camera, I don't think that does what we want it to do. I think we need to have somebody who knows what they're doing to install it in the best possible place.
Gordon, do they have to have access to electricity?
Yes, that would be one of the questions. They don't, in terms of power, they need the access for the, in terms of the internet service. So we need an existing, that was the third question. We have existing server. Who would be who providing the server for this? And of course, my idea is that the club has got a office there. The club has got it, but I discuss them. You could have a camera that goes all the way from the 18th and can rotate whatever 360, and then at the same camera can zoom over and do the other, of course, look into the opposite direction. So that's one. That's one of the that would show the valley. So that's one. But
yeah, is that a location based on what you're describing that you obviously would see the golf course and maybe
yes.
even the clubhouse and it could turn and maybe see the chapel and
absolutely.
maybe even the pool area. It could do that.
You can do as many locations. You can set it up, the camera, so it gets pre-programmed. So it can go one direction, as you'll see in some of these other locations. Then they can rotate it. Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have opinions about location?
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can we have more than one location for the camera? In other words, can the camera be picked up and moved so that we can offer some variety in scenery and views?
To answer your question, yes, Jim. You can program the camera to do anything 360. You can set it up as you see these other cities. Some cities like Nantahala will have 2, 3 locations. You can have separate cameras or one camera that can pan and do whatever you wish to do it. You can program it in.
How about, oh, excuse me, go ahead.
How expensive is it to set up that second location? I'm thinking
it's not at the second location. You'd have
maybe the club.
I guess location would be one location for the camera, but it zooms in and out. So you can, with the one location, you can show the 18th green example and then rotate it during your programming to show the chapel. And they can do this continuously.
If I recall from Gordon's last investigation, one camera is $6,000. But that one camera, as Gordon said, can do a 360 view, a zoom in and out. So simple multiplication, unless I don't understand why they wouldn't. 2 cameras would be $12,000. 3
Yes.
cameras would be $18,000.
Yes.
And I'm thinking one camera in an appropriate place that can zoom in and out and scan at $6,000 is probably the way to go.
Now you can
I
go
agree
there.
with you on camera. The question was really, what if we put, okay, we suggested the top of the club. That's probably the best spot. But there's also a pavilion at the club that gives better views in some directions. What about the roof of the chapel or the old lodge? The question was, is the camera mobile? Could we pick it up?
No, you cannot. No, that's a great question. The camera is not mobile. It has to be mounted. No. And it has to, of course, it has to have the service, the internet service.
Right.
If you wanted to do different then you would have to have two separate cameras.
And I'm not sure about the legalities of the old lodge, but that's private property. So we'd
they
have
all
to get
are.
permission. You don't know if there'd be any other costs. This is again just my opinion as far as the chapel goes. I think we'd like to see the chapel because it shows the quaintness of Sky Valley, as opposed to just because it's a high location that may give a good picture. It would not be in the picture probably. Holly, did you have something else you wanted to add?
I was just saying, I would love for us to see the overlook and the waterfall, but perhaps if we had a wonderful, a drone footage of that on our website, that would take care of those two areas.
Yeah, that's exactly what I talked to the photographer about and pointed out certain aspects of it, but particularly the waterfall and the overlook. And
Yeah.
if we can get that in the drone,
Yeah,
have that appear on our website, I think that would solve that.
yeah,
And then when people tuned into the webcam, they're getting, here's what it looks like right now.
right.
Snow, wind, rain,
Mhm.
sun, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Anybody else want to add anything? We're not going to probably make the decision at this point because we have a lot of things to discuss, but we'd like to get on it quickly.
Bob,
But I can-
it looks like Doug's clicking on right now. I didn't know.
Oh,
if he saw his
good.
name.
Well, somehow I'm here.
Hey, Doug.
Hey, guys.
All right. Anything else regarding the webcam?
Yes, I have a few more points here I'd like to just review. I guess it would be installing it. I've got the fourth question. Do we have anyone to stay if we install it? Apparently it's a simple system to install, just lock it down and hook it up. But if we had someone install it, if we had someone to do it that would been from this service, they would charge anywhere from $250 to $500. Do we have anyone locally that possibly in the city or someone that could install the camera? I don't think it's that technical, but it would save ourselves up to $500 if we had someone that could do it locally. A question, they seem to think that Phil, that we could have someone, it's not that difficult, and if we had someone local, it would save a few dollars. Just
All
a
right,
thought.
I got a question on that.
Sure.
If they install it and we pay them the extra money, they're responsible for its upkeep and that it works. And if we have a problem, we call them.
Yes, we do call them, but they essentially said they really come back, they really have no issues. Once it's installed, it's almost zero issues in terms of maintenance issues. And the problems they've had were typically a lightning strike, or in terms of other issues, programming, they would take care of that. But the other sites, they said they simply haven't had problems with it.
Even
So
if we have a local somebody install it, they would support it. And
all they said is essentially installation is just hooking it up, bolting it, the mounting system onto whatever we mount it onto. That's all it. Then you hook up the cables and they take it from there, from their corporate. So
Can
there's
I ask?
really,
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. Gordon, how do our community and people not in our community access this camera footage?
Okay, well, that would of course be through, that was the interest. It would be through the, in this case here, a webpage that we've been talking about. That was one of the questions. You'll take this plan in terms of, and it will be remoted on. I asked them, could this be on the web pages of the city of Sky Valley? And could this be on of course, the club? and of course the POA, and he said, yes, we could do that. Each one would have a message based on that. So essentially we were taking that and you'd put it on, your web page would have it.
And we had talked about this in generalities about
Yes.
now that we've got a great new, good-looking website, and to kind of have it as a one-stop shopping source, that we could either have a link or maybe a square on the website where you just, as soon as you open up our Sky Valley website, um, the webcam would be available.
Yes.
And also, we need to look into the possibility of having one of the weather services, or just have our temperature, even if it's a little square in a corner, you know, temperature in Sky Valley now is whatever it happens to be, which supports our highest and coolest city aspect. And it'll be right there that people don't have to dig for it and look for it. And we want to give it to them as easily as we can and support what we're trying to market to them. Now, you had mentioned when Doug had sent out his most recent email blast, which had included the ad we put together for the Mountain Traveler, that you would like to see that on the website as well. That was one of your emails. So there may be some things that we can be doing over the next few months and get it done so that by next spring, when we're kind of hitting our most beautiful period, all these things are there and we can move on to other aspects of promotion to our markets.
I think it'd be great, Bob, if we could do it by fall, because that's also a gorgeous
Oh,
time here in
that
Sky
is,
Valley.
you're absolutely right. I forget about it. I have
Yeah.
my wife is a leaf looker too. We used to come up in this area in the fall, even if it was just for the day. So
Yeah.
that's true. So maybe we need to, you know,
Right.
that's kind of why I put this near the top of the agenda, to maybe make some quick decisions, contact who we need to contact.
I'll
get
follow
with-
up. Yeah, the other question that come up was in terms of Resort.com, you know, they have it in terms of, you look at their website, is the webcam temperature. The webcam temperature, if you look at different sites, such as in Nantahala, it'll show the closest. And for us, the closest temperature is a National Weather Service in Greenville. Well, that's not acceptable. So we're going to
Right.
have to look as an alternative, either Weather Underground, which they'll give it for Sky Valley, or we could purchase our own. We ought to do our own weather station, just a little instruments that'll give you local, and possibly someone already has that. So we'll have to have something else that would go on to our, you know, they said they could put this on in terms of the our temperature. So we would not use their temperature because it's not, you know, Greenville, South Carolina, National.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Well, the funny thing is, and I'm not a big weather guy, but there are some weather sites that you can get to on the internet that do say weather in Sky Valley right
Yes.
now is. Now, I don't
That's
know where
Weather
it comes
Underground.
from. Well,
That would
okay,
be Weather Underground, and we can incorporate that. There's a way of incorporating that, and they could, of course, put it on in terms of their site.
okay, so Weather Underground is a weather site that you're
Yes,
saying we can use?
yes. Or
Okay.
we could have our weather, if you put Weather Underground and then type in Sky Valley, it'll show the current temperature and forecast. And if somehow
Okay.
there's a way of putting that in, we can put that into our websites.
Ah, okay. Well, that's
We
something
have-
we need.
Ed and I have purchased it's a little weather station. I think it was
Yes.
$100, and it gives
Yes.
you the rainfall, the temperature, the humidity, I
Yes.
mean,
Really?
the wind velocity, and it's in a digital format. I don't know why we couldn't do something like that.
Ali, and that's exactly, I spoke to a instrument, they'll have these, some are better. I personally have one myself in my home.
Yeah,
But they have those a little even better, $400 or $500 that are very accurate, and some of
Right.
those can be used. And if we wanted to do that, that'd be very, very accurate. We could use yours or someone else, and of course, put it
Sure.
on our webpage. Yes, I don't know how to put it together, but there's ways of doing it. You can
yeah.
put that on the reports.
Okay. A suggestion, being that this is somewhat time of the essence, we want to get anything going for the fall. And there's a lot of aspects to this. Maybe we could ask for volunteers from the committee that would work on the webcam thing with Gordon, and we appreciate what he's done so far. Is anybody willing to do some of the research, legwork, find someone who could install the camera, look at the various weather undergrounds, or looking at the buying of thing? Anybody there want to help with this?
Especially needed in terms of the internet, how to put that together. That will be, so you bring it all together.
Right.
Someone has the information on that, yes.
Okay. Again,
And location, I'd like someone to discuss, maybe we go out and look, identify the location one. I'm open to location.
Gordon, there's somebody online right now who has suggested something. Ella, you want to read the
Yeah,
comment?
I will. Yeah, let's see, it was Manny Sanchez. He said, what about atop the sand store silo by the maintenance barn? And he said that would capture all these views. That
Oh,
is,
was-
that's just down from the chapel. That would be perfect.
oh, okay, as far as
If
the
we can
location.
get it high enough. One thing
Right.
is that also too, keep in mind, we have a new bucket truck and it has a pretty good reach, so we could utilize that if we need to.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that would
Ah.
be one, that would help.
Okay. Now,
Ella,
Gordon,
Ella,
I'm
what
gonna
would be, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry,
Gordon, I'm
Bob.
going to ask you to chair this little group of volunteers, being you've done most of the research so far. So would you be sure that you're taking whatever notes you need to, like this location on top of the silo? And Jim Curtis just put up something, it went away, so I can't read it, but what was it that Jim just typed in?
He
He
said,
put perhaps the camera feed could be a screensaver that would stay up on folks' screen.
I guess we could look into making it, but they'd have to install it for it to be a screensaver, I think. And
Yeah.
I'm not technical enough to know that, can you do that with something that's live? So I guess put that down as something to investigate, Gordon.
also, Ella, could you investigate them installing this, these two aspects, the weather and the webcam on our
Yeah, that
on our
made me a
website?
note. Yeah, I made me a
Yes.
note to check on that. You have to get
That'd
a
be
price
great.
on that.
Thank you.
Also, Jim put on here, does Zane have a weather station at the club? For some reason, I know he keeps track of the rainfall. So that might be something to reach out to as well. I'm not sure what he
I
has.
don't believe they
know-
have it.
Okay,
No.
well, I know he keeps track of the rainfall. He probably just has a rain gauge then. Okay, all right. But that
Well,
was
maybe-
asked, so.
Just kind of tongue in cheek, every morning I wake up and ask Alexa, what's the weather? And she says, it's currently such and such, it's going to be a high, it's going to be a low, it's going to be sunny, there's going to be thunderstorms. And for most of the last several months, it's been the exact same forecast because almost every day it rains. Now, I don't know if we can do anything with Alexa, probably not, but it certainly would be good if it would say, hey, it's currently 78 and, high and low and, amount of rain or thunderstorms or whatever. The stuff that we find to have useful and we think people would like, how can we get that to them, in the one-stop shop, so to speak?
Right.
There was just something that popped up from Lita.
Lita, yeah,
What
she's
is
got
that?
on here, she said there was a Sky Valley neighborhood page by Ken Walton. Ever want to know the weather in Sky Valley and be frustrated because all you get is thanks to Zane Purcell at the Sky Valley Country Club, you can now get accurate weather in Sky Valley, and you click the link, and this is the weather underground dashboard, and I do use that, especially when we've got snowfall.
Mhm.
I really watch that because I have found it to be very accurate with snowfall and estimates.
Could we attach that to our website, Ella?
I can find out and see if she can do that.
And anyone who's out there in marketing meeting viewing land, if you have any other ideas, suggestions, websites, or even someone who you think could install it, if you want to email that to us, we'd love to have the recommendations. So, Gordon, should I give him your email or just let him have mine?
Work it through you, either one, doesn't matter to me, yeah. Why don't you give me
Okay.
to through
All
you
right,
so we
so
have
if
it
anybody's
going.
out there okay, if anybody out there, my website, excuse me, my email is Bob_O'Keefe, Okeefe, @bellsouth.net. Now, I've been copied on some other emails. I've got nothing to do with cutting down trees in the neighborhood or approving colors of roofs or anything. I'm
I saw
purely a
that.
marketing guy. So if you got stuff, if you got anything in regards to any of these topics, I'd be glad to have. All
The
right, is there
weather-
anything else that we need, Gordon? Oh, we need volunteers.
The
When asked for
weather ground source that everybody's talking about with weather that Zane has put together has a section at the bottom of that report for an active live webcam if we have one.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand. Could you repeat that? Ed?
Yes. The weather ground site that Zane has put together for the city and the club has a section at the bottom of it for an active webcam, if we have one.
Oh, okay. So it can appear there as well.
Everybody should go check out that weather site. I have it on my
Okay.
list on my computer.
Do you know what the address is? How do we get there to look for it?
It's the same address that we had in the chat minutes there. www.wonderground.com/dashboard/PWS/ all capital letters KGADILLA11. All
We
of that.
So
Yeah,
you
we
said
could
it's-
put that in the Sky Valley Times, put the address in the Sky Valley Times.
That's a great idea because,
It'll be in the minutes
Right.
of this meeting.
yeah,
True.
Did all the
that'd be great.
legwork on
Thank you,
this,
Bill.
trying to get it working.
All right, if we could have it in the minutes and put it in the city email, then everyone can have access to it. We can look at it.
I hate to interrupt you again, but Ellis reminded us we didn't approve the minutes.
Oh, you're right. Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes from the last meeting?
Yes, approve it. Gordon
Okay.
approves.
Second it?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of accepting them? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Awesome. Thanks, thanks for keeping me on track, Alan. Okay. Now, getting back to volunteers, when we said, can we have anybody help Gordon do some of this research and legwork? All I heard was crickets. Come on, we need some of you to step up and, being on a marketing committee, we all need to do a little bit of work. This seems to be something we really want to need and doesn't require a whole lot of physical movement. It seems more like internet research. Can we get one or two people to volunteer? I mean, obviously I will, Gordon, but
Yes.
you need other people. So who's going to step up? Nobody.
I'll follow up with the, in terms of especially the weather underground, because I had conflicting information on that. So I will I'll follow up and put together for the next, try to solidify the questions we have here. And we don't want to go ahead and purchase anything until we get these further answers. I would guess, hold off or until the next meeting, until I
I'd
have
like
got the
to
answers.
volunteer somebody, Bob.
Go ahead, Holly.
I'd like to volunteer Ed Style.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, okay.
They say behind every good man is a good woman.
Yeah,
Thank you, Holly, for being
you're
that good woman.
welcome. You're welcome.
I-
Anybody
Ed, I am
know
one of those.
anybody
I am
know a
one of
good
those
divorce
too.
attorney?
I
Hey,
am one of those
Gordon?
two that has volunteered me for things.
Yes.
I don't know if I'm muted or not.
No, you're not.
Everybody
Hear you,
hear me?
Ed.
Who is it, Doug?
No, it's
Ed.
Ed.
Ed
No, it's
Morgan.
Ed.
Gordon, I'll be glad to help you with the, particularly with the location. So
Thank
I'm
you.
glad to help.
Thank you, Ed. I appreciate that. Now, remember, when we want to get stuff done, it doesn't get done during our meetings. We got to have a lot of work going on outside. And if, I'm gonna ruffle a few feathers here, Holly.
Well,
If you're on the committee,
Bob, do you know a good divorce attorney?
actually, I do, fortunately, from 20 some odd years ago.
Okay.
If you need
Look at
that, I'll get it to you.
Mm.
Look at the,
Guys,
look
if
at,
we want to accomplish anything, we have to do the work. And when I ask people to be assigned to the committee that are capable and able, that means you actually will do things. And some of you have, and yet we need to do a lot more. So please just don't sit there and say, okay, somebody else is going to do it. There's like 8 of us on the committee, and it's all going to be us. We're a football team of 8 people. We're having a huddle here, and now we got to go execute. And we got to have enough players to execute. I'm going to
Bob,
leave that.
I'd like everyone to look at the questions I asked. I sent them out, and it does save time in meetings. If you sent your reports in advance, I highly suggest this. I will save time. But I'll try to have answers for those 5 questions that I send out for the next meeting.
Okay, and if
Locations
anybody
so forth.
will look at all of the emails that I sent out, some of them are easy. Here's the ad, looks pretty, great. But there's some that actually need an opinion. And opinions help, and volunteers help. And again, thank you to Ed and Holly and Gordon and Ed Morley. Ed's not even on the committee, but he's willing to step up, so I appreciate that. Okay, let's go back to other things. Come on now.
I did put a note in the chat that about the budget information. I think that's something we might want to look at as well. In
Yes.
reference to this, we have a current balance at $10,860, and we've already committed another $3,000 for the rest of the year to Golf Life. And that leaves us a balance of $7,868. And also take into consideration, we're going to have additional fees to pay for some of these other print publications that we've already committed to for the year. So we need to think about that as well.
What was the
Right.
balance, Ella?
The balance after it was 10,868. We have another 3 that we've already committed to Golf Live for the rest of the year. And that leaves us a balance of 7,868. And you're talking about a $6,000 camera. We need to
Right.
think about that because we're going to have other expenses that are going to come up as well.
Well, I appreciate you, and if you keep me abreast of that stuff too. I don't plan on spending any more print money this year. I know that there was something that came up. As a matter of fact, Ella, you had sent me an email, and it had an image attached to it, but the image did not come through. So
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know what that image was or who it's for.
Oh, it was for the billboard that is down here
Oh,
at the foot of the
okay,
mountain.
all right.
Yeah, because y'all had
All right.
talked about it. So
Yeah, if you can
it is on
resend
there.
that, and then that may be something that we may not be able to afford to do, because I said long ago, we want not to spend money we don't have. We do have a billboard there. If we can update it, that'd be great. But that was one of the things that was on my my agenda, which is we're coming into having a plan for 2021. And, you know, we decided we would do what we could for 2020, and we have, and I think we've done a pretty good job. But now it's going to be time for the city and the club and graciously the POA, who was a major contributor, to decide what are we going to do for next year, because future ads, future investments, paying for pictures and drone footage is only going to come if we actually have the money. And I know some of the groups were reticent about donating because of how money was managed and accounted for, but hopefully we've been able to prove that we've been judicious in spending and maybe up the ante. Now, one of the things too with regards to that is, and Holly and Ella might be able to answer this, maybe Bill, with the hotel motel tax money, 40% of it goes to the Forward Raven,
Mhm.
and they use that mostly to promote Rabun County, but they will do certain things for us if we request it. But there's the 60% of that money that I'm assuming and hopeful that we can use that toward the marketing budget. Am I correct in that thought process or no?
You are, but just keep in mind this year with the COVID-19, our amounts are going to be down considerably. And also too, in reference to this point, I am working on the 2021 budget, so I'm going to need to ask for commitment amounts pretty soon so I can get that piece of the puzzle together for our
Right.
marketing. So just to give you an idea, I am going to need those amounts pretty soon.
Okay. So we have two people from each concern, the city, the club, the POA. Would you please make this a priority to discuss with all your necessary powers that be that we're going to need a commitment, shall we say, by the next meeting, which let's say was going to be in about 4 weeks? Would that work, Ellen?
Really would like it sooner so I can get some real numbers out. But if that's
Okay.
what you have, I'll go with what I have this year and sort of massage it and see, because we got some things that we bought this year that we won't need next year.
Exactly.
So, yeah,
All right,
just
so-
looking at all that.
So you folks, if you could come up with a decision and maybe not wait for the next meeting, send it by email or something to Ella and myself so that she can get along with the budget. And then we can go ahead and keep our planning going of some of the stuff we just talked about in this meeting. Is that doable for each of your groups?
With the POA, we can try to have another administrative meeting. We'll have to have that together. So we'll
Thank you,
set
Ed.
up a meeting for all the board.
And again, in support of the POA, they really stepped up because we would not be doing the majority of what we've been able to do without the major contribution of the POA. And hopefully we can look to them as an example of, okay, let's get behind this because we've been doing it, I think, the right way. I've had lots of good comments and some emails about how well the marketing committee has been doing. So let's put our best foot forward and hit a couple of home runs here if we can. Yes,
Just speaking for myself and not for anyone else on the city council, it would be my goal that the city would be contributing at least, at the very least, on the same order as the POA has in the past. In fact, since we're in the setup stage, it might be appropriate, since the marketing is going to benefit everyone in the city, that maybe the city could also help with some of the setup costs just to get things going, the drone footage, the camera. We'll see, but that would be my goal.
okay, thank you, Jim. I appreciate your support. And you can talk with the council members that need to and the mayor to come up with a very, very generous figure.
Well, I know out of our current budget, I think it was economic development or the other one I can't think of right now. We paid a great deal to get our new website done. So that
Mhm.
certainly will not have to be part of the budget next year.
Sure, sure. Well, as Ella said, some things we won't have to duplicate, and
Right.
some things we'll consider whether we want to continue. We're making our decisions as we go, but as we said, we need funds to do that. Whatever your group is capable of doing, let the reins, don't hold tight on the reins this year, as some groups did. All right, I just saw something pop up. I think it was from Ed Morley. What did he say, Ellen?
He's got on here, he said, do we have any funds left from our tourist tax left over from last year? Are we soliciting local attractions and accommodations to have a link on our website? Yes, we should have just a little bit left. Let me just give you a little heads up of what I've been doing this year. The actual billboard that it is at the foot of the mountain, I think I've even stated this previously, the city is currently paying this. We're not paying it out of marketing. It's $335, and I needed to do this to be able to work through my budget this year. But also too, I did ask when I started working on the website, I asked a lot of the locals like Julep Farms and some of the others, and COVID hit and a lot of them were not interested at that point. But now with the fall season coming upon us, we can reach out to them again and see. Like I said, I had Julep Farms. I reached out to Scaling Mountain Tubing, some of the other activities in the area, not
About
just doing
The zip line too, Ella, did you
the
get
zip
that one?
line too. I
Yeah.
did reach out to them as well. I never got a response from them. This may be something that Bob, as the marketing director, if you would be willing, you and Holly, to go actually talk to some of these people, it might be a great idea to have a one-on-one, you know, and
Sure.
and see that. I think that might be something that's worth doing, is to do some one-on-one
Okay.
and not just email or phone calls and that kind of thing.
All
Oh,
right.
Sounds
and
good.
Lisa also put on here, and I definitely agree with this one, 12 Spice Winery might be willing to do
Right.
something too. So
Right.
that would be a good one.
And I know
Hey, did
that, I know that
Can
Doug,
you hear me? Anybody hear me?
Yeah,
Yes, we can
Harry.
hear you,
Yeah.
Harry.
Hey, I am so sorry. I've logged in 3 times and I've been on mute every time and haven't been able to speak to anybody. But thank you for accepting my entrance at this point. I have talked to George Powell, as I mentioned, I think earlier, with the Zipline organization. He is very receptive to working with us on any kind of marketing
Great.
endeavors. So we can go forward with that in the next few weeks or months. I don't know if anybody talked about the couple that was coming to Sky Valley in October, which is only like a month away now, if you can believe that, and do a review on our golf course and the surrounding area. They're out of Arizona, I believe, but they write articles for different publications around the country and the world. So we're gonna be in touch with them. And did Hollingsworth get involved in this conversation
Yeah.
today?
Yeah, he's
The,
here. Doug's here.
the
Okay,
contact
good.
originally came from Doug,
Right,
and then I forwarded it to you and Gordon.
I got it.
And the response I got was, we have to discuss it with, certain of our
We're working on it.
powers that be.
We can get a place to stay. If I have to take care of it personally, we'll get them a place to stay. I've talked to Roy about it, Roy Aiken, the president of Sky Valley Country Club, and we'll take care of them on accommodations, no problem, and get them a meal or two, so that that's not going to be an issue. We'd be happy to have them, and that'll be a what I think is a super addition to our marketing endeavor. Other than that, I think that's what I had to say for today. And if I think of something else, I hope to not be out of touch. Thank you very much.
Great. Well, thanks for chiming in, Harry. You gave good response to the things we're trying to do there. If you can let them play some golf and feed them a little bit and put them up in a place. However that's done, hopefully it doesn't have to be done with personally, but If you guys have influence with timeshares, maybe a couple of nights there, that would certainly do well for all of us, but and particularly the club. So appreciate you guys doing that. Going back to Forward Rabun, excuse me. When Holly and I and Ed were down there, I don't know, a month or so ago, found out that they could spend some of that money for us, the hotel tax money. And I petitioned to them to pay for at least one major printing of the Sky Valley decals and bumper stickers. I went ahead and did a small amount for the golf event that was last week, but they have gone ahead and said they would spend, it's about $750. So they have done that. I'm about to send them the bill. So we are going to have 500 Sky Valley decals, the oval ones, and 500 bumper stickers that we don't have to pay for.
Right.
So it was good for that. And if we can come up with anything else that's what's considered direct marketing to people in the community, obviously they're going to spend a lot of the money on Rabun County at large. But if we have a specific request, we can petition for them. And I was a little surprised and happily surprised that they said yes.
That's great, Bob. Do we know how we're disseminating those stickers, and how about the magnetic ones?
Well, I am not going to order any magnetic ones because they are expensive. They're close to $4 each to get the same size sticker as a magnet.
Mhm.
And the other thing is, how are we going to sell those? We didn't ask that question in the survey. We did get, I might as well segue right into that. Thank you to Debbie
Mhm.
for orchestrating, creating, writing, monitoring, proofreading, and I just sent the latest update of what the responses were to all of you. So again, I was been gone for 2 weeks, so I didn't really spend any time looking at it either. But by the next time we can see what the results were, I'll try to summarize them some. But the Sky Valley oval stickers seem to be a pretty big success with people wanting one. And then to a lesser extent, maybe half as many, the bumper sticker. So we have some time as to how we disseminate them. I don't know if we mail them to them, which would involve money, or we do kind of like what the POA does is, sit down by the club and say, come and get your stickers if you want them. But it seemed to be a very positive thing. We got them printed. We got somebody to pay for them. And I'm not going to go with the magnets at this point because they're too doggone expensive. I think if people want them down the road, we could order them, or we'll figure out some way. My thought process was, if and when we do open up the Welcome Center, then maybe we can make them available there. I don't think the magnets are an immediate need, particularly since quite a lot, several hundred people wanted the stickers. Okay, let's see what else have I got here. And again, if anybody has any kind of photographs at this point, until we get the professional ones taken, that can send them to Doug, because he does need photographs. And JPEGs work, apparently, because that's what we used for the Mountain Traveler magazine. So if any of you have files or what have you, I mean, I even thought we could upload them to a jump drive, a USB drive. I'd be happy to donate the drive and bring it to you. And if you've got them, upload them and get it to Doug so that he has a variety that he can use in the short term. There's a, okay, Letta says there's pics in the Sky Valley. All right, it went away. Ella, can you read what Letta just posted?
Yeah, hold on just a second.
Harry, if it makes you feel better, Ella got kicked off too.
No, I kicked myself off for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Let's see, Lita put on here, post a notice at the mailboxes too, please, and have some non-local addresses for most of us that have mailing that might be too costly and not make sense, or include with the power bill. We don't do power, we have water and garbage. There are pics in the Sky Valley neighborhood Facebook page regularly of sunsets, sunrises, etc. Ask folks on the Facebook page to post as well. That's what she was saying.
Okay, well, we have a little bit of time on this because we have to figure out how to disseminate it and what's the best way. And I agree that mailing stuff is probably going to be too expensive. So again, if you folks could think of inexpensive and yet easy to do ways of distributing these things. And I agree, if there are people that don't live here, if we did mail them, we would go to their home, which may be where we would like it to be, because just driving around Sky Valley is not really where we want to market to. And a lot of people up here that would get it in the summertime or the fall could drive home to where they live, which is obviously where at least some of the target market is. So we have some thinking to do and some decisions to make. And I would encourage you to read the results of the survey. I'll try to do a summary of it, and then we can come back together and decide how are we going to get these to people. We now have them, so that's an easy way to do it. And maybe we could do several things. Sit at the PO, not the POA, at the club and hand them out, check them off, so that, because we don't want to give 12 of them to any one person. It was kind of like, would you put this on your vehicle? So I'm thinking 2 per household if there's 2 vehicles, and so on and so forth. So again, need your opinions, and eventually possibly some volunteers. Okay, we're coming up on 11 o'clock. So we've done the golf event. I covered for Doug. I'll give you a minute at the end. We talked about the webcam, talked about the website, talked about the stickers, talked about the survey. Holly kind of touched on the timeshare update on repairs, unless there's anything specific woohoo that's happening in the short term, or are we good with just that we're keeping them aware of it? Okay. Bill, do you have anything that you want to say at this time about the Welcome Center?
That's like,
Bob,
Yep.
nothing major. Followed up with our guy. He's working on the drawings now, so I
Good.
hope to
Okay.
get something in a week or so.
All right, good. All right, regarding advertising, I sat with, there's 2 North Georgia travel maps, and one is the Northeast Georgia Mountain Travel Association, which is the map that we handed out at the golf event. And then there's another one, and I sat with the guy a few weeks ago, and he's designing an ad, and he hasn't gotten back to me on that, but we're going to be in that map as well. As I said, I'm thinking of, at this point, due to funds, holding off on any other kind of print media. I might like for us to consider the second edition of the Mountain Traveler for the fall. It's like 6 months. We did it in the summer, that goes 6 months, and now they're looking to do the fall and winter for 6 months. But that depends upon whether we have any more money coming in. So you folks deciding that we're getting money is going to be important to what we do. Okay. We can put these off for the future, but the city-owned properties that are available for sale, a list of those, and the emails of current
Okay,
property owners.
Yeah, they don't have my list. They do not provide email addresses, and we don't have them with Look, so
Okay.
we do not. So if we're gonna do something, we have a list of
All
about
right.
20.
Maybe what
We
we
can
could do-
mail something.
Or maybe we could put something in the city newsletter, attention property owners, we're trying to market to blah, blah, blah. And if you have properties available for short-term rentals, contact us and give us your websites.
Okay.
That's a possibility. Okay, we'll put the business hours after event on hold. We'll probably want to talk about Facebook and Twitter. Holly, any update on the contact list from the old visitor center?
I have it, but it's not in a format that is usable at this time.
Okay, so it's hard copy,
Yes, sir.
but it does have all the contact information?
Some.
Okay. Is it possible that someone of this committee who loves to work with word processing could get it from you, maybe scan it and send it?
Holly, if you can scan it and send it to me, I can convert it to a Word document or an Excel file.
You got it, Bill.
Awesome.
I can
Thank
do
you,
that.
Bill. And any news from your friend in Idaho or about the
Yeah,
promotional video?
yes, she will have a proposal by next week, and I will get that to you. And I'm assuming that we're probably not even going to consider it until next year, and that's what I told her.
Right.
Because of financial restraints. So I will get that. I will report on that next time.
Great. Well, that's what we need to do. Let's just keep the snowball going down the hill. We need to reseed it with more money, folks. So let's get that on the high priority. The comments that I hear from people is that they're very supportive of what we're doing. Those that have expressed that. I know a lot of people will see it and not express it, but whenever you hear something positive, and it's been
Yes.
a numerous amount of times, I think we're on the right road. Okay, Ed?
I see what he said. And yes, we have talked about this. Ed Morley put on here, suggest adding to the to-do list. We need to think about replacing on our light pole banners, which are badly faded. I definitely agree. And we were waiting to do these until we got the new logo. Now that we have the new logo, we can see about going and doing these now. As you saw last year at Christmas, we added some for Christmas. So we might want to even think about Holly and Ed and Bill on the city side, and Jim, as far as doing something for fall, since we're getting into that season, doing something for fall, and then we can do Christmas, and then after the first of the year, put a permanent, one that we leave up mainly year round and not have to change them.
And
The other thing,
I
oh, go ahead. Excuse me.
noticed what a good impact the American flag ones were at the 4th of July. It just, here's Sky Valley right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I know we could look into maybe getting seasonal ones. We don't have to put out as many, but I like them too, Bob.
I'd also recommend whenever possible, and I don't know if this is a city thing, a marketing thing or whatever, that if we have flags that look like they're well worn, that maybe we could replace those, particularly the American flags.
Oh, definitely. I've been on top of that and actually have ordered some new ones. Yes, that's
I
a
even-
pet peeve.
Good.
Definitely.
I suggested to Bruce's committee that maybe we put a spotlight at the entrance that shoots up to the flag, because technically we're not supposed to fly the flag at night unless there's a spotlight on it. So he said they were going to add that to their things to do list as well.
Actually, I have,
Go ahead, Ella.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I
Go ahead.
actually have 2 estimates on that. We have been working on that, so we have some estimates for that to move forward with that project as well.
Perfect. Okay.
Great
Is there
idea.
anybody else that has anything they want to add or discuss that we haven't already?
I have a question going back to the partnership, like with the Zip Line or Julep Farm. Do we partner with them financially? Do they pay to be part of our website? how does that work? And do we have a list of, I've got some ideas about who could be targets, but
Yeah,
how does
we
that work?
do. Yes, ma'am, we do. We had talked about this, and just to start out, we were gonna do just a small ad. If you've been on the website, you see where we've got certain links where you can go to different locations now. We were thinking about just maybe charging $50 a month until we got this rolling. We talked about different companies that we wanted to
Right.
include, certain companies we didn't want to include, because of the competitive nature of them. So that was something we took into consideration as well. So we
Okay.
mainly want to do travel, that kind of thing is what we're
Right.
trying to stick with.
We talked about, Ellen and I talked about like Julep Farms and 12 Spies, the Dillard House, the Zip Lines, just local entities around here. Jamie, would you work with Bob and I on that?
Sure, I'd be glad to.
And Doug has been making some contacts with local businesses as well, so he
Great.
should be part of that. As a matter of fact, Doug has
Okay.
agreed that he would come up periodically and actually do some of those face-to-faces. So let's all, maybe outside of this forum, make contacts, and maybe when Doug's going to come up, and Jamie, who do you know, and
Yeah.
so on and so forth. Because as we're going to be making changes in the website, we might as well get some money for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else got anything to say?
Bob?
Yes.
If we have access to some TIFF files that were taken by a professional photographer, would
Can't hear you, Jim.
Jim, if you could hear us,
if
why don't
we
you type
have
it in?
access to some, okay.
Yeah, you're
Type it.
you're breaking up, and you're stationary, so. Or if you just want to send an email, that'd be fine too. All right, now, I didn't do this last time, and I didn't realize it was going to be as big an issue, but it worked out. Setting a meeting for the next meeting. And we had to bump it out 5 weeks because of vacations and budget meetings and other meetings that conflicted. So we are sitting here.
How about September the 10th? That's a Thursday, and that gives us 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
That was exactly, great minds think alike, Ms. Holly, because I was thinking the same thing.
Well, be scared about that, Bob.
All right, does anybody have any issues? Ella, particularly because you're kind of the schedule keeper. Does September the 10th, Thursday at 10 o'clock, have any conflicts?
No, I'll make sure I don't schedule a budget work session on that day.
Okay,
I'll skip that one.
all right. Everybody else good with that?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, I guess, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Okay, second, anybody?
Second.
Thank you. All right, all in favor? Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, good. I think it was good. We covered a lot. We have a lot to do. Let's just keep this this buggy rolling on down the road. As I think Diana Ross and the Wiz said, ease on down the road.
He's on down the road.
I like the ease on part.
Thank
Doug
you.
is, but okay, take care. Doug, you and I can talk